Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the talk show.
Another episode
of obesity in children. Obesity in general, because it starts with the children, children's bad habits.
Yeah.
Is even if adults, people that become obese as adults or in the teenage years, a lot of them gain weight during teenage years. That's because when they were children, they had bad eating habits. But we're gonna talk about this more throughout this video. But pretty much today, the
topic
of today,
the topic is gonna be children being fat. Is it in the genes or is it habits from the parents?
Do you guys think that children are fat because the parents gave them the fat gene, pretty much the obese gene, or the chunky, whatever, big appetite gene? Do you guys really truly believe that that's such a thing? I want to know. If you want to pause the video, put it in the comments below and let me know, yes, somewhat, maybe, I heard this, there's this article that says this, blah, blah, blah. Please put it on the comments below. I really want to hear your thoughts on this. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this because I feel like that's kind of like a common, like a theory. People stare at me like it's a common thought, and there's actually some articles that there's this argument pretty much that some researchers or people believe or want to believe that some people are just fat because they have the fat gene. Their parents pass it on to them.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I think that's complete freaking bullshit. That's
okay. So let me tell you. So research reveals that children of overweight parents have an 80% chance of also being overweight. Why do you think 80%? That is?
Okay, it is true. Usually fat parents, especially when you're more than just fat. If you're a fat parent, it's a very high chance, like 80 or probably more percent chance that your kid is going to be fat, just like you. And it's so weird too because, especially nowadays, but I don't know if many of us have noticed how there's parents that they were actually not fat when they were young. Like they were skinny kids, had the same diet that they're giving their kids, and then now that they're adults, they're fat because maybe they have a more sedentary life, whatever, right? But the children, since a very, very young age, adapt the same body as the parent when they're adults. So, and sometimes, usually kids as early as 5 years old, they already look as big as the parent. Like they look like a small, like a miniature version of the parent.
Yes or yes.
Yeah, like around. A little, you look exactly the same. But usually by the time they're especially these days with how things are nowadays, by the time they're 8, 9, 10, 12, the latest, boom, same body as the parent. And that is the sad reality that we're living these days. And the reason for that, it's not because of the fat gene. It's not because your mom gave you a fat gene. There is somewhat.
Wait. Yeah, which parent gave you the gene to begin with then? If that's the way you want to go, which parent gave you the gene?
It doesn't matter. Let's say they got the fat gene from one of the parents, coincidentally, right? But let's say that you get the gene where you just have this hormone that makes you want to eat more.
Yeah.
Crave more, right? There's these kids that have bigger appetite.
Yeah.
So let me tell you
let me tell you right now.
Well, you find it. Let me tell you guys a quick story. I know this for a fact because I lived this in my family. When I was a little kid, I was both of my parents were very athletic. They they worked out a lot. Mom did gymnastics and ballet, and my dad did gym and was a runner every day. He worked out every day. So he had a very nice physique, very nice. And he had a very fast metabolism. So he could eat whatever the hell he wanted. And he just burned it. He just looked great. No fat.
Okay, yeah.
Same with my mom. Both of them ate 10 tacos at once. And they would not gain a pound. They had very fast metabolisms. So they get married. They have me. Eventually get into the sedentary life of parenting and working and, having, family activities and all that stuff. And they change their young working out lives to more sedentary parenting life. But when I was little, so I was a very skinny, fit kid. I pretty much inherited my mom's body. My body was very similar to my, kind of mix of both, but it was very similar to my mom's body. And yeah, I remember being very fit, and I also remember having a big appetite. I had a big appetite. I was the kind of kid, and I thought it was funny because I would see my parents eat a lot, and I remember me thinking, like, I like to eat a lot too, like my parents. And I was the kind of kid that in school, like most regular kids my age, they will, one of the favorite things to buy in school was either these like Subway sandwiches, kind of like tortas, or corn dog. They were pretty tall corn dogs. And most kids will be full with one corn dog. That was kind of like their max. Like to them was a lot of food. But you will see the fat kid will get full with 2 corn dogs. And I was the skinny kid that ate like a fat kid, and I would eat 2 corn dogs
and still be hungry. Man, that's good.
Yeah, and I would get really hungry if I missed my. For example, I also remember that most kids will go on recess and they wanted to play. They want to go and play. Kids would not get hungry at my age. Like most kids, like they forget about being hungry because they just want to play, right? I don't know, because most kids don't get hungry. They forget about eating. But I will get mad. I will be like, no, I cannot miss my lunch. I will get really hungry. Like after I would have to eat at my hours, I will get hungry and angry. So I did have those tendencies. And yeah, you might think, and actually think for the longest time I actually thought like, whoa, I just have this, eating metabolism and genes like my parents. They are very hungry people. Therefore, I am just like them. I'm a very hungry person, and I can eat a lot of food, and I don't gain weight. I don't get fat because I'm just like my parents. My parents eat a lot of food. They don't get fat. That's what I thought.
So when you would eat at home and
I would eat a lot.
Your mom would cook dinner and she'll serve you a plate, would you always go for seconds also? Or what
when
do
I
you
was
remember?
a kid, I don't remember, but I remember eating a lot of food. Like I remember, like if I wanted to, like if I was really like hungry or something like that, I would eat a burger.
Breakfast,
I would eat a burger.
lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, like I remember, like I could eat, like sometimes I would get full with one hot dog, but sometimes I'd be like if I in my head I'd be like, oh my god, you know what? The hot dog was so good, I'll eat a second one, and I would be able to eat 2 hot dogs if I wanted to. Like if I push myself, I could eat it. If I wanted a burger, I would eat like once we would split half a burger and a hot dog between me and my friend, or things like that. We just loved eating food, and that's because I was introduced to American food when I was little. My favorite food was American food. I didn't like Mexican food, and I grew up in Mexico, so while my parents love going to eat tacos and things like that, which is like tacos are a pretty healthy meal. To be honest, they're made with especially in Mexico, organic corn tortillas, and it's mainly just vegetables and meat. So it's a very lean kind of like meal, and I didn't like it because I didn't like meat when I was little. I didn't like was very particular about texture, so I didn't like carne asada. I like the burger meat, the juicy, soft meat. That's what I like. I like the hot dogs. I like the sandwiches. Anything American, I love. I love the chicken nuggets, all that mac and cheese, Chef Boyardee. That was my go-to meal. Until one day I started gaining weight, and I started noticing getting a little bit of love handles and pudgy stomach, and slowly but surely, I started gaining weight. And then my mom puts me into ballet to think, like, you need to do some kind of exercise. I'll put you in ballet. And yeah, I kind of lost a little bit of weight, but still not enough. And I'll get more into detail of my story, right? It's a lot to reveal within what my own experience about gaining weight. But looking back into everything about my life, looking back into like how did my eating habits started, why did I have a big appetite, why was I like this, why did I gain weight, all that stuff. And I cannot help but realize that it's not that my parents didn't give me a fat gene. My parents were never fat. As a matter of fact, my mom was really fucking skinny when she was little. She had a very fast metabolism. My dad too. They both have really, really, really fast metabolism to the point like they struggle to gain weight. They really, really struggle to gain weight. So how the fuck did I gain weight at such a young age? I started gaining weight when I was about 10 years old. So how did that happen? You know, I thought I had the skinny gene. You know, where the fuck did I gain? There's no fat people in my family. I was the first fat person pretty much to start gaining weight. We do have one aunt, but that's not our story. But my close immediate family, no. So from all my siblings, everything, my mom's her siblings, my dad's brothers, anyone, no fat person. So I was like, how did I gain so fat? How did I get the fat gene? From where? And it's just kind of like, and then we started looking into, well, maybe parents, you know, and give their kids the gene to be more like big eaters, right? And to be like hungrier than an average kid. And it's like, okay, that could be a reason. I have seen kids that are I do have another foreign cousin that he was pretty big at a very baby. He was a fat baby, and he pretty much stayed a fat baby. Something like that. That could be that he's just a very hungry, constant eater. But let me tell you something. Before I even get into like me, myself, my own experience. If your kid has a big appetite, and let's say that nobody taught him that appetite, nobody encouraged him to eat a lot. If your kid has a natural big appetite for some reason, I'm pretty sure that if you fed your kid like nothing but lean proteins, lots of vegetables, broccoli, you know, no dressings, just maybe a little bit of butter here and there, maybe a little bit of, you know, cottage cheese, or just very lean, natural stuff. If you feed your kid very lean, organic food, I can guarantee you there's no amount of broccoli that's going to make your kid fat. There's no amount of chicken that's going to make your kid fat. It's not the gene. It's not the fact that he eats a lot. It's the food that you're giving him. It's the fact that I was eating, I was snacking in the afternoons. I was eating chips. I was a big addict. I was a fan of chips. Chips with chamoy, salsa, all kinds of stuff. I ate a lot of candy. I ate a lot of candy. Like, I was so addicted to candy because there was no, you know, there was a store down the street, and you know, my parents wouldn't notice when I would go in and buy this candy on my own. Mm-hmm. You know, I was fed fucking corn dogs with ketchup, you know, with ketchup in the mornings. Like, that was my fucking breakfast. How the fuck am I not gonna gain weight? You know, I was fed burgers and hot dogs at nighttime. I would drink soda on a regular basis. How the fuck am I not gonna gain weight? I wasn't drinking no water. Calories. Exactly. Eventually my metabolism gave up. There's no amount of water that can make me gain weight. But if you gave me soda, I will gain weight. You know, you give a kid those options, they're going to gain weight, which is what we're going to talk about today. The fact that it's not the genes, it's the food that we're being served these days is altered with fucking bad ingredients, like an insane amount of sugar. Not just sugar, not just, you know, regular, you know, organic sugar, but high corn processed sugar, which is the worst kind of sugar. And it's in all of ours, in most of our foods. It's in our ketchups, is in our
fructose corn syrup.
Fructose corn syrup. And we've been knowing this. I've been knowing this for a long time, but we think like, oh yeah, fructose, and we think like, okay, well, I'm not gonna have that. But then you don't. I didn't used to read the ingredients in food. I didn't used to be like, how much sugar is in this juice? How much sugar is in this ketchup? How much sugar is in... We didn't used to do that. No. You don't do that until you actually have to. Until you actually put yourself on a goddamn diet. Yeah. And read us what you found.
So there's one study was genetic disorders are responsible for up to 7% of severe child obesity. Okay, so that's a very small percentage of the total population, whereas in America, obesity rose from 18% to 21.4% in the last decade.
And that's from people that actually go to the doctor. Imagine people that don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I don't know exactly where they're getting the studies from, but I mean, maybe from schools they're doing surveys, or like, you know, they can just.
So you said what is the responsible for obesity? The small percentage of people that you said what disorder?
The genetic disorders.
The genetic disorders.
Is 7%. Oh yeah, genetic disorders associated with obesity are responsible for up to 7% of severe child obesity.
Okay,
That's very small.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like what a coincidence that now we're seeing these genetic disorders, and it's just kind of like these genetic disorders didn't exist back in the day. And let's think about something. Most of these disorders, if not all disorders, like they're caused by the things that we are intaking, that we are eating. Like for example, if a mother drinks alcohol or takes certain drugs while pregnant, the kid is going to be born with some disorder. So all this food that we're eating nowadays, because of the food industry, is so highly processed, it's so highly altered that it's no longer, your stomach is not recognizing it as actual fuel, as actual food. It's more like a drug in the form of food. It's practically what we're eating nowadays is just a freaking drug. Food is the biggest drug of them all.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Most of these research that you'll find, if you're like, oh, why is obesity, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to be direct like us. They're not going to tell you straight up. Why? Because there's several reasons. They can't prove it. They can't prove anything, plus it wouldn't be in their best interest to tell you what we're telling you. Why? Because think about something. Think about something for a second. Have you ever questioned yourself like,
why do you eat?
No. What was the question I was telling you earlier? Why do you think that the government allows to have all this sugars and additives added to food? To have all this processed food being sold to us? Like, if the government wanted, they could simply say, it's illegal to add more than X amount of sugar to an X amount of quantity. And it can be in high fructose corn syrup, illegal, done. It's bad for people. We're not freaking allowing that. Not for my people, not for, it's inhumane to make these people so highly addicted to this kind of shit that is being sold as food. It is wrong, and we're not allowing that. Why do you think the government is not doing that?
Well, there's money to be made. The
Exactly.
people, sugar is one of the most addictive things. They say compare it to cocaine. That's how addictive it is.
That's how addictive it is.
And yeah, you get that sugar rush. People like.
You can see people's pupils freaking light up when you give them a sugar rush. So
I've seen it.
this is the thing. Like, people, the people in the government, they don't care. They care for just enough number of people to sustain a country, but they don't care for everyone in the country. People, that's why in Canada they're doing the whole like, if you want to kill yourself, you got our blessing type of thing. Because it's like, if you're good for nothing and you're not going to be a productive member of society, we don't need you. We need to get rid of the people that we don't need. And thank you for your money and thank you for your time. So this is the thing. The food, the more sugary the food is, the more flavorful the food is, the more, these additives you add to it, the more addicting it is. And they want people to keep consuming that, to consume lots of it. If everybody, like, ever since me and Martin decided to, like, clean our diet, be very strict about how we're going to eat from now on and everything, we came to realize that we save so much money on food because we don't buy shit that we don't need. We don't revolve our lives thinking about what are we gonna eat, today or this week. Like, we kind of have a very simple diet, and then yes, sometimes we'll be like, hey, let's make burgers this week. So we'll buy just enough for one dinner of burgers. We don't buy excess amount of burgers just in case. We don't buy like, just in case we feel like we crave like burgers one day. Then we're gonna buy a bunch of pasta just in case we crave pasta. And then we're gonna buy a bunch of hot dogs just in case we crave hot dogs. No, because it's illogical to try to eat that much food. When you notice how much food you actually know, when you have your macros count down and you know how much food you actually need on a daily basis, you get to be able to calculate how much food you actually need on a weekly basis. And you buy just enough. And our fruit and our fridge never gets packed. Actually, I should do a quick video tour of our fridge. So you guys, I will give you a tour of our fridge. So you see how it looks just like without even planning it. Our food always looks clean. Our food is never overpacked with food. We know exactly what we have. We know exactly what we're going to eat that week. And every week it gets emptied out or almost emptied out. And we just go, and our shopping experience is super easy. So we spend very little money on food. So yeah, the food industry does not make a lot of money out of us because we're intelligent shoppers. We know exactly how to plan our diet pretty much. But when you have a bunch of people that are, when you can create this addiction on people with food, that it's not going to kill them immediately. But I mean, technically, you know, they can say like, well, it's up to you. You know, my children grew up eating cereal every day and they're not fat. I grew up, you know, I drink soda all the time and I'm not fat. So maybe you have the fat gene, or maybe you're just not working out enough, or maybe you are just, you know, doing something wrong. So they put it up to the person because, yeah, there's cases. People have incredibly fast metabolisms and they eat really bad diet. For some reason, they don't gain as much weight as other people. Yes, every metabolism is different. But the bottom line here is not whether like, oh, you know, compare yourself with people who are skinny. The problem here is that you shouldn't be eating unhealthy regardless. You shouldn't be eating the kind of diet that is obviously making other people fat. That is the bottom line here, because sooner or later it's gonna, I have yet to meet the person. I have yet to meet, and literally I have seen this throughout years. There was this one person that she was so skinny, and I really thought this person was never gonna gain weight. All of a sudden, boom, gains weight. This other person, you're like, hey, whether it happens in your 30s or 40s, you gain the weight. And it's insane because it happens. When you don't watch what you eat, you eventually will suffer the consequences for your bad eating habits. So bottom line, the food is the problem. The sugar in food is high. It's like a drug. It's like a drug that you should be aware of. You should be aware that you're giving this to make yourself addicted to their food so you can keep consuming. And it's all they want, all the government wants from you, and all the food industry, which is what freaking gives, what pretty much sustains the government is from what we eat. Right?
Yeah.
All,
so let me go over some of the patterns of why people eat. So people who, the biggest one, I would say the problem, it would be like emotional eaters. Maybe when you know that could lead to an excess of calories when you don't even realize it. You know.
Yeah, most of us are emotional eaters. That's a very common thing from most of us, especially when you have an unhealthy diet. Because, oh my God, like you get it's such an amazing feeling to eat something that it boosts your dopamine like crazy, and the more sugar
it makes you happy when you're feeling sad.
The more sugar it is,
makes you happy.
The more sugar it's in that food, the more carbohydrate it is, the more dopamine you get. So obviously you're sad and you start eating a box of ice cream or a box of cookies. Oh my God, cookies are good, and you feel so much better in that moment, and then you feel like crap again because it's like, oh my God, I broke my diet or whatever. But it crashes you. Then you get the sugar crashes, and which is one of the main reasons why a lot of people suffer from depression. Because of the excess sugar that we eat. Yeah. And there is studies being made on that.
The highs equal the lows.
But I feel like also, my thought about the government, they're not pushing these knowledges. They're not really pushing about like, don't eat sugar, don't eat processed food, don't eat this, don't eat that. They're not pushing that because they don't want you to stop eating that way. They don't want you to stop consuming. They don't want you to stop overeating. They just want you to work out more so you can continue to consume the food.
To work out more? That's what they want you to do. They're not even promoting that. They're not even promoting that because they want you to just stay home now and just watch Netflix and be on your phone all day.
Yeah, but when they see a lot of people being fat, they're like, oh, just need to increase the activity and blah, blah, blah. And they do a little thing like they actually fucking care, but they don't care. They don't care if you are fat and you die of diabetes. You know, unless you're making the money. But if you're broke and you don't even have money for like, you know, to pay for insurance or whatever, or to pay for a doctor, like they don't care for you because you're just costing them money. You're gonna apply for disability, they don't care. So they don't want you to be very obese. So they do kind of have to be like, oh, obesity, blah blah. They don't want you to be obese because that is bad for them. You're just gonna be charging. You're just gonna be charging them for disability. You become an expense for them. But until then, they just want you to be they don't care if you're a little bit fat, you know. And that's why they're promoting this whole like they're so much up on this fat acceptance movement. I gotta link the video below. But that's what this fast active movement is so big. And they're promoting this kind of like lifestyle. Like, oh, it's okay. It's okay you're fat. You should love yourself if you're fat. You should just be okay with being, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you that everybody's stupid. Everybody's fat phobic. You should love that way. Yeah, keep eating. Want another McDonald's? Here, want another soda? Here, keep consuming. Food is amazing. Don't worry about. You see people on TikTok, like, oh, I don't care about what I eat whatever I want now. I eat whatever I want. Fat, health at all sizes. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable they're promoting this shit. Why? Because I want your fucking money. That's the bottom line.
Well, yeah, it's, the more you're consuming, the more money you're giving them. They know maybe the problems are gonna lead on later in life, and you're gonna need medications. There's more money for them. More.
Every human is a dollar sign. Every human is just we're just a dollar sign. That's all we are. What's the next one?
The unconscious eater. What do you think that is?
Unconscious eater. Like you're not conscious that you're eating a lot?
Or maybe you're unconscious of what you're eating. Maybe
yeah, that's most people.
Yeah, you don't.
That's most people.
A bag of chips here. Maybe you're eating an excess of carbs that you're not even realizing how much carbs you're eating.
Yeah. You don't realize.
You digest those quick.
Oh my God, that's so.
It just turns into fat.
Yeah,
if you're not burning them off.
That's crazy that you brought this point up, because that's also something that I was thinking the other day. I wanted to share in the show. The fact that there is such thing as people, because there's people say like, oh yes, I'm fat, but I don't even eat a lot of food. I eat very little, and I'm just fat because of my fat gene. That's another thing people think. Okay, this is video for this guy. I'm also gonna put a Think Before You Sleep, great channel. He talks. He's so funny. He talks about most people that are fat is because they eat a lot of freaking food. But there could be something like me. I gained a lot of weight when I was in college. When I stopped working out, and my metabolism drops as you get older. So I gained a lot of weight, and I swear to God, I wasn't eating a lot of food. And I was like, oh my God, I'm eating so healthy. I eat salads. I eat salads in school. Yes, here and there I have the casual ice cream when I'm stressed out from school, from a long day. I'll have a Carl's Jr. here and there, but I don't have them all the time, And I'm I don't even have a soda or anything. I'll have it with a glass of milk, or I'll have it with, I'll share the fries with Martin, or sometimes I don't even have the fries, I just have the burger. Come on, I only have 3 meals, that in the morning I was having a smoothie, a fruit smoothie every morning, and I thought I'm eating so healthy. Why am I gaining so much weight? And even if I ate, and there was another case where I started changing some of the things that I eat, and I realized why am I still not? This is the thing: when we don't know about nutrition, when we don't really learn or hire the right professional, like a health coach, or really do our own research about how nutrition actually works, how our body actually processes foods, how our body actually burns this food, learn about macros, why it's important to consume a certain, stick to a certain number of calories, and stick to a certain number of macros, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats to eat, how much vegetables to eat on a daily basis, and why is it important to kind of make sure that our diet is very similar every day, the meals that we consume, so we don't mess up our metabolism. Why is this so important? When you don't learn, really learn about those things, you're going to fuck up. You are going to eat things that you don't realize how extremely caloric they are, and it could be this small. It could literally be but I only had a little tiny, and that could be 1,000 calories. A fucking chocolate has crazy.
Not that much, but.
Huh? Well,
not that have that much, but it can have a lot.
Martin, the freaking the $1 million shortcake that we made. How many fucking calories do you think is on a little piece like this, dude? Easily 500. 500. Yeah. Easily.
I think a candy bar, a Snickers or Twix or something, has 300.
They're 400 calories. Yeah. So it's not about the size of the food. It's not about the size. Dude. I was eating. For the longest time, I was eating salads on a regular basis, and I was I'm not losing weight. Why am I not losing weight? I'm eating nothing but I remember.
And what was the problem?
The fucking dressing.
The dressing.
The dressing.
Cream,
I was adding so much cheese and dressing to my salad. And I didn't realize how extremely caloric just 1 tablespoon of dressing was adding. I was like, yes, I'm eating a salad that is like 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
You know, plus my breakfast, plus my dinner, plus whatever.
The
you know,
fats are the most caloric dense.
just in drinks, you can literally chuck a shitload of calories on one drink. You know, and it's not only the drink, it's like also the composition of the drink. Like, for example, like, a soda, for example, can have like 100 calories, right? Which is not a lot technically, but also your body is not going to process, you know, the chemicals in a soda that is nothing but chemicals. Then how it will take 100 calories of just an orange juice, for example, right? It's not the same thing. Like when I was young, I didn't know better, but I thought, okay, fine, sodas are bad. When I started my losing weight journey, like sodas are bad, whatever. And I started, but I hated water. I hate drinking water. My parents didn't taught me how to drink water. I didn't teach me how to drink water. And I remember the water that we'll buy over in Mexico just didn't taste good. Like I hated the taste. It was really bad tasting, so I just couldn't deal with it. But if my mom would have put a better effort and she would have done more research on nutrition, she would have figured out ways to make me drink more water. She would have probably said, like, you know what, I'm going to make more fresh waters. Like, she could have mixed a fresh juice, like maybe, like, I don't know. She did do, like, waters, but they would add, like, for example, agua de Jamaica, but they would add, like, a lot of sugar to it. So it's kind of still defeats the purpose. So what I would do would be all like, you know what, let me make lemonades, but I'm going to add a lot of water on it and just a little bit of sugar, so it's more water just than lemonade. So it's very watered down lemonade. Yeah. So she could have started me off like that, and then little by little put less sugar until my body would adjust to just drinking plain fresh water with lemon to kill the flavor of the metals. But anyways, I pretty much said, fine, no soda. What is my next best favorite option? I love pineapple juice. So I started drinking pineapple juice. That's what I would drink every day.
Yeah.
Every freaking day. Dude, I swear to God, pineapple juice has just as much calories as soda. I dropped weight just by switching those two. I dropped it. Yeah,
it's natural.
I dropped crazy amount of weight.
The natural sugars is always going to be able, it's going to be easier to burn off.
And I also noticed a couple times when I started getting back, when I was working here, for example, like at a Subway, and I will ride my skateboard. I'll ride my skateboard to the Subway, and I will get there Thursday, right? So I started kind of like one time I felt I was craving. It was really hot, so I was craving like a Coke with ice. So I had it, I drank it, and I was like, oh man, it's just so refreshing, so good, right? And it just boosted me up, right? Like freaking shit of sugar. I just had a freaking shot of, I don't know, cold crack. And I was like, oh yes, it feels so good. So obviously it felt really good. So the next day I was like,
I'll try it again.
One more time. You know, like, oh my God, it feels so good. I feel like I need it again. And I just like, literally, I feel like
never the same, right?
I did it for, no, I was always felt good. But for a whole week I did it. Oh my God. I literally noticed me gaining. I felt myself heavier in 1 week by just doing that one addition to my diet. It was the one change I made. Just have a little
extra calories.
It was a little bit of soda, not just the extra calories. It's the ingredients in that one extra thing that I was adding. That my body was like, "What the fuck?"
It doesn't know what to do.
It doesn't know what to do with it, and it started blowing me. It started messing me up. So I felt gaining weight, and I was like, I'm like, this is crazy. It's crazy for me. And I thought it was like just a little bit. It was a tiny little cup that I was just a little bit of soda. It's mainly ice. A little bit of soda, like, just to refresh me, just to get the edge off, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. No, I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm taking this off my diet again. I promised myself I was never gonna drink soda. I don't know why I started doing it again. That's it, right? And I just noticed, like, things like that make such a big difference.
Never say never.
I have made, practically I can say I have made experiments with my own body throughout my life, testing what works and what doesn't work. Until finally we start really getting into nutrition.
Yeah, you become more conscious.
The biggest change right now for me in my diet too, that has really helped me this year a lot, was that I found that this friend, because I wouldn't have been able, I was scared to afford, like, I would have not reached out to a coach, to a health coach, because I you know, it's intimidating. You think they're gonna charge you a lot of money, right? And I was really stressed out with my wedding and everything. But this coach, she was practicing in Mexico, so it was a little more affordable because she was just starting. She gave me an amazing deal, so I was like, fine, I'll take it. And she taught me a lot of things that I never like. She showed me a little more about macros and about like kind of like what the sizes of like my protein, how much you consume, this much of chicken, or you consume this much of fish, or this much of meat, this much, all the different proteins that I could consume on a daily basis. And then she showed me my carbs. She it was good. She was amazing. I'm also, her name is Lisette Lopez. I'm gonna link her. Probably try to link somewhere put a link somewhere on the screen, and also I'm gonna link her on the description. So if you guys want to learn more about nutrition, really reach out to her. She's great. She's amazing. She gives great advice, great tips. To the very least, she gives great tips on her social media. So try to follow her. And she can teach you also how to better at least your children. If you don't want to do it for you, at least do it for your children. Change your children's diet, which is the most important thing at this point.
Yeah,
it's our future.
The most important thing. The first thing people should be taught is how to eat correctly, which is that's the problem, that parents don't know how to eat correctly, so they pass those habits onto their children. And just because it's not freaking alcohol or cigarettes, like they think it's not as bad. They're like, oh yeah, let them eat, they're growing. But it's not just because they're growing, it's the habits that you're giving them. So is it the genes or is the habits from the parents?
Okay, so going back
we're still going. So another type of eating is habitual eater. So they exercise the same routine and eat the same foods daily. The problem with this type of eater is they can burn out, and when they do, that can lead to binge eating.
I don't get it.
That can lead to binge eating.
That's
maybe like trying to stay on a diet.
I think they're thinking about it in a specific type of habitual eater, because that's very broad.
Everybody kind of eats the same time.
It's like I feel like what they're thinking is like, oh, okay, if you're the kind of person that their entire life has been eating like junk food and and then all of a sudden you're just trying to like eat the same kind of food every day to like stay on outside and exercise. But then you're like, obviously you're gonna get tired if you're not doing a diet that is sustainable for you, that you actually enjoy. Like, for example, a diet that me and Martin do nowadays, we freaking love it. We crave it. The time that we were in Europe, like, oh my God, like I was amazing. Was food was amazing, the pasta, everything. But I was like, Martin, like I miss my diet. Like
the salad,
my chicken salad? Is there a place here that just sells like just plain nice chicken with with rice and salad? Like, if there's somewhere we can find that, because I am tired of so much bread. I am like, the bread was blowing me up. That I was already kind of like, I'm not even used to eating. Never used to eating that much bread on a regular basis. Never in my life ate that much bread. And I still gain weight. Either. And I still gain weight because of other factors. Like, I eat a lot of candy, high fats in my diet, all that stuff. But I never ate that much bread, and it was blowing me up really bad. I think I'm probably
still bloated.
Gluten intolerant. Yeah, because it was making me feel like so sluggish all the time, and
that's kind of what happens anyways when you eat a lot of carbs.
That's why in Europe they take la siesta. They take la siesta.
Oh,
so from most restaurants are closed from 2 to 6 p.m. because it's really hot, first of all. And at that time you can go and like have a drink and have a snack, but people are not eating at that time. People are taking la siesta. So la siesta. So pretty much I was gonna go back. So the habitual eating, I don't think so. That's just not, if you don't have a sustainable diet that you actually love. Like, but honestly, when you eat regularly, is the best you can do. You eat regularly, you have a certain routine of exercise that you like to do every day, and you keep doing that. Your body gets used to it. Eventually, you crave having your routine, having that kind of like physical activity on a regular basis, and then you feel more comfortable. Like, once in a while, having a treat, going to a restaurant, order whatever you want on the menu. Obviously, you're not going to go crazy because you're so used to eating in a certain way. Your body is not going to allow you. As a matter of fact, now I can see other people eating like foods that are insanely, like, I had my friend the other day, like, eating a burger in front of me, and I was starving. But I still went for, like, eating what I already had planned to eat, which was my vegetable soup. Chicken soup with veggies. And I was like, yeah, obviously that burger looks really tempting. But my chicken vegetable soup is so yummy as well. And it's a lot more healthier. And I know that when I'm done with the soup, I'm going to feel so good afterwards. I'm going to feel great. And if I eat that burger, I'm probably not going to feel all that great. I'm going to feel sluggish. So my body and mind are connected in that way now. Yeah. Where, like, I already know the foods that are good for me, and I am very happy eating those foods.
I mean, think about it. Like, a hamburger it's a food that was designed to be good, to taste good. Like, that's not something that you can go and eat, you know? Like, you have to make it, like, individually. There's different ingredients. So then, yeah, I'm just tripping on that because that is gonna lead to, like, a certain high, but it's also gonna probably make you feel a little, like, for example, a lot of people that how you're saying, you're like, oh, I didn't eat it because I knew I'm probably gonna feel bad afterwards. Whereas when you go with the natural stuff, what we eat is just like chicken, rice, and some greens.
Your stomach is gonna appreciate that.
Yeah, your body's gonna appreciate that.
That is the definition of loving yourself. That is the definition of loving your body. Telling yourself that you just love yourself the way you are, and that everybody's crazy, and that you should eat whatever you want. That is not loving yourself. That is living in goddamn denial. That is not having love for your body. That is refusing to take accountability, refusing to take action, refusing to take real love. Real love for yourself and real love for your children is giving them the best diet that you can.
One of the 7 sins, right?
Yeah.
Like gluttony. And just stuffing your face with just food.
Humans these days, that
makes you feel happy.
That you're just eating for pleasure, and you're not eating just to fulfill your needs.
Yeah,
which your body needs just fuel.
Back in the
day,
your
body needs a certain amount of macros to have the energy and have the right to be able to function correctly.
Yeah.
That is loving your body. Stuff in your face.
That's the problem with today's the modern day is the convenience of having everything readily available, or it's just like drive-throughs or these delivery apps. Now you can just order anything and get it delivered and have it instantaneously. Whereas before, back in the day, like, people had to go out and hunt their food. And they probably didn't eat for long periods of time. You know, maybe once or twice a day. But now the convenience of that is just making everybody, you know, entitled to just have food. Like, oh, I'm hungry, now I'm just going to eat whatever's in front of me. It's like, dude.
It's because most of us, we still have that primitive mind. You know, and not only do we sin of gluttony.
It's changing you because you're not seeing food as what it really is, as fuel for your body. If you're putting in processed foods, you're messing up the whole.
But Martin, yeah, but it's like when you, it's like, for example, Snowy. So just like when you give Snowy, you know, his food, you can give him his food or his meat or whatever that he's used to eating. Or you can serve him another plate with, like, leftovers or, like, a bunch of, like, a chopped up burger with fries or whatever the hell. What do you think he's going to pick?
I don't know. Well, we haven't really tried that, but I'll assume he'll go for his regular food.
What? You're tripping. No? You don't know Snowy? Hell no. Like, they have high senses. They can smell. I mean, obviously, they can start to detect if something is too processed. They want to eat it, but they're still like humans. They're still addicted to, like, sugar is addicted to all beings. That's
a good experiment.
Yeah, Carl.
Put in the comments, share in the comments if you want to see the experiment with Snowy.
Oh yeah. We always want to see this.
We should probably do that.
Let's do the experiment. Let's see what he will like best. I think he's gonna go towards the.
I think he's gonna go for his normal food.
I think he's gonna go for the carb-rich food. So, anyways, when Snowy gets given, like, I remember the first time I was making, like, pasta one day, and I thought, I was like, he's not gonna like this. So I gave him, like, because with the red sauce, I thought he was just not gonna like it for some reason. I'm like, I like the red sauce.
Pasta?
Yeah, I was making the spaghetti. No meat or anything, just a sauce. So I gave him a little piece to try. He was like the first time I tried pasta, he went nuts. Like, I could just see his
dilated.
his happiness a little time. Like, and he just asking for more. Like he was like, "This is the most amazing thing I ever tried in my life." Like he just really liked it. So the thing is that as long as something tastes good, like humans, you give a human a drug, you give an animal a drug, they're gonna become addicted. Addicted, you give a kid, you give the kids to try freaking carbory food, sugary foods, all those things, they're going to like it and become really addicted to it. And then there's going to be consequences to that addiction. And the human or the kid is not going to realize why he's suffering from depression, why does he have suffering from behavioral problems, why he has anxiety, why he feels, sluggish, why he has all these behavioral things in his, that he feels this way, he isn't going to feel his best. He's not going to know why. He's just going to be thinking like, oh, I'm feeling bad, so I guess I need more food. And then just going to be back like the drug addict. It's just kind of like, dude, you're feeling like shit because you're burning out on the drugs that you've been doing. So you should be not doing drugs. That's what you should be doing and recover. No, the drug addict goes and does more drugs to feel better, knowing that he's going to feel bad again.
Feel in a bottomless pit.
Exactly. So where was I going with all this? Pretty much.
So yeah, let's go to the next one. So the next one is the sensual eater, that you just try new food without thinking about it. Or you probably be like, oh, I'm hungry, so you just like serve yourself a big plate and just realize how much food you're putting on your plate. So you kind of just eat for pleasure, I would say.
Yeah. Then they enjoy trying new food and enjoy food with little thought.
Yeah.
I think that's most people too. Like we're just giving food like, oh, it tastes good. Like anything with sugar or carbs, like tastes good, obviously.
Yeah. Or like somebody like when they're gonna go out to eat or to fast food, or like say In-N-Out, like they always order the same thing. To me, I like to order like the double with animal style fries and a drink.
Yeah.
And then
I cannot think of any
go all
food,
out,
any food that most people like. It's usually has either high sugars and carbs, or has high sugars and fats, or just has high fats. Like this is what makes it, usually gives it the most flavor to things. So anything else that is like, oh, this is really good, it's all like it's a almond based bread with no sugar, no butter, nothing. It's like, or you give somebody like, I don't know, like you give somebody like a very spicy taco or something like that. Like they're probably not everybody's gonna find that very like enjoyable, exactly, because it's really spicy, and they might like it, they might not like it. Depends on how much flavor there's in the food. But you give somebody a burger, like tacos. Most people like burgers. You give somebody a pizza, most people in the world will love pizza because it's high carbs, high fats, and the best pizza actually, it's made in America. Why? Because the dough has fucking so much sugar and flavor and fats in it, which in Europe it doesn't. In Europe the dough is almost flavorless. Like when you compare it, it's like, oh my god. Like technically, like you have to say, like American pizza is better because it has more sugar. But technically, it's not cool.
Obviously, found in New York. Damn.
Yeah, it's not. It's like you're gonna add sugar to your freaking food. Obviously, you're gonna make it better. But it's like technically, European pizza is better because it's more organically made. And it's perfect just the way it is. But obviously, you go and add crack on the freaking food. Obviously, the food with crack is gonna taste better. What's the next one?
The last one is the energy eater. So you're trying to eat as many calories as you're burning.
Which is kind of like
So like people will just like eat whatever and like they think they can just go work out and just burn a lot of calories, which they're probably not burning enough calories.
Is that what it
anyways.
means? I understood it as in, it's just like so vague, right?
Overfeeding for the energy eater is actually pretty common. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, it just says you try to eat as many calories as they're burning. They've grabbed healthier foods but not realize how much they're eating. So it's like going to the gym. Like after you go to the gym, you feel like really hungry. Well, sometimes I get like really hungry.
Yeah,
sometimes like I eat a portion, I eat a plate, and then I still feel hungry.
That's the kind of eater that I am. That's the kind of eater that I am. Like if I, for example, forgot to eat, or I would go several hours without eating, like, and I'm really, really hungry and I feel really sluggish, like, I would eat double the amount that I would eat on a regular sit down, because I feel like I'm lacking, so I try to compensate on the calories.
Yeah.
So also, when you're trying to lose weight and you go to the gym and you burn these calories, but then you go and eat them all back again, it's kind of like, well, you're not going to lose any weight because you're like eating back your calories.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very common mistake that people make, that they stay active, but they're also eating just as many calories. I mean, it's great when you're in an optimal state, when you're like, okay, this is how many calories I consume, this is how many, you want to consume the same amount of calories that you eat, ideally on a regular basis. If you have a constant activity that it can be sustainable for the rest of your life. Like, some people get into sports, like, for example, my mom was a gymnastic, but it's like, you can't be a gymnastic for the rest of your life. That's a little girl's fucking sport,
Gymnast.
Or a gymnast and a ballerina. So you can do that for the rest of your life, because it's like, well, you're gonna be a mom and be, like, obviously you gain when your body changes. She was already kind of gaining weight by the time.
You go through phases.
So if instead of just being like basing her activities on an activity that she liked, she would have just been like, I want to be active, so I can't do nothing anymore, but I'm gonna start, going to gym or running in the mornings. She would have just kind of like made a more sustainable type of, like, I want to make sure that every day I kind of like have a certain level of activity on a daily basis that could be long term. If she would have made a decision at a young age, like, she would have been able to never struggle with that and have a decent diet and never gain weight. However, she continued to have the same diet that she had. She stopped working out, and then sooner or later, she gained weight and gained a lot of weight. And she used to be very skinny. She's not a fat person, but she's not fit anymore. She's not skinny anymore. And right now, she's getting back into her routine of working out. I'm really proud of her for doing that. But it's so much harder now that she's much older. Like, I always feel like, Mom, what did you
have to like sacrifice a lot more.
Skip so many days, why did you skip so many years? Why did you wait it this long? And she's like, yeah, I was busy. And there's always gonna be, like, I saw in the office, as they says, like, there's always gonna be a million reasons why not to do something, and there's only one reason why to do it. So if you want to find excuses for why you're not doing something, like, save yourself life. But like, there's always gonna be excuses why not to do something.
Yeah.
Always. The point is that if you want to live, make those excuses your reason, then that's your decision. You're deciding to let that. If instead, you try to find a way around those excuses, be all like, I want to be fit. I want to not gain weight. Or I notice that I'm gaining weight, so I want to lose weight. And I want to figure it out a way. How am I going to do this to be able to achieve my goal, which is live a healthier life, or at least, to the very least, not continue to gain weight.
Yeah.
I want to not continue to gain weight, because some people, like my mom, not only did she not try to stop try to not really made a big effort to lose the weight that she had gained, but because she didn't make any positive changes, she continued to slowly gain more and more and more weight throughout the years. It was so subtle, so minor, that it was 5 pounds every year. And then in a matter of 10 years, it makes a big difference. Man, 50 pounds on a woman makes a big, big difference. And 5 pounds, you don't really notice. Sometimes it's like 4 pounds, like, you don't notice them. Don't notice them all that much. But you add them up, and they're a lot. So you don't have to, like, you don't have to, like, if you don't want to really, like, bend over backwards to lose the weight, at least do it to not gain more weight. Because if you're not doing something to, like, stop the problem, you're just gonna continue to gain weight. Yeah. And that's the issue. And my mom never ate unhealthy. She never ate really unhealthy. She ate, compared to most Americans, because we go to people's houses and we see how they eat. Compared to most Americans, my parents eat relatively healthy. They always ate a lot of vegetables. They always ate very balanced. Like, they always ate a lot of. My mom doesn't even eat a lot of like desserts or anything. My dad is the one that eats desserts. My mom doesn't even eat like that. She just eats normal. Like, she'll eat tacos here and there. She'll eat like, even her breakfast is very light. But what really matters, when she told us, like, I don't eat that bad, that. Yeah, Mom, but when you actually look into her nutrition and her macros, like, she's not meeting that. She's not eating. She doesn't
macros are
her
off
macros
balance.
are really off balance, and she's not really like she's not very knowledgeable about like the kind of macros that she needs to live a healthier life, and she never took try to learn more, to take that initiative priority into her life, which I forgot to mention. That's why I want to say, like, I really want to encourage you guys to look for to reach out to a health coach. That my friend, I'm gonna put on the description below. She's amazing, and they're not that expensive. At least she's not. She's extremely affordable. It's 100% worth the investment.
Yeah.
100%. We spend way more money on other things.
$100. Like, the best investment you're gonna do is gonna be on yourself first.
Exactly.
First.
Not only that, but you're gonna save the money in food once you actually get your nutrition and your macros on point.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was gonna say earlier, you were talking about, were you trying to refer to what's it called, Wes Watson? How he just always talks about, he's like a very big into physique and fitness and self-improvement and everything.
Mindset coach.
Yeah, he always talks about like that you shouldn't eat for pleasure, you should eat for.
I mean, it's just pretty much
you always
the
phrase it.
Food is the fuel for your body. You know, like, yeah, you can have pleasures here and there. You know, have like a cheat meal or whatever, but like, yeah, you just want to stick to your macros, because that's gonna give you the best outcome in life. And then, like, once you look good, you feel good about your body, you're gonna, you know, live with more confidence, and you're gonna be able to do things with more confidence, and it's just gonna be, it's all around. Everything starts with what we eat. That's what, you know, you are what you eat.
You are what you
If you eat like shit, you're gonna look like shit. If you eat, you know, good,
and you're gonna feel
good.
You're gonna feel
you're
like
gonna look
shit
and feel good.
even if you don't, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of overweight
That's
people.
a whole. We can get into a whole nother topic about that, about how eating, like, you know,
yeah, if
makes
you're
your
suffering, if you're
bad, and you know,
yeah, and
all this.
especially if you're suffering with, if you're
stuff.
struggling, which is what mainly my channel is
the
really
most
about,
important
you know, talking about mental illnesses. If you're struggling with mental struggles, mental illnesses, the disorders like depression and stuff like that, bipolar disorder, all those things, a big reason for that, a big reason for your stress, your anxiety, your depression could be your diet and your habits. And that's sadly but so true, and people don't want to accept it because they are just like, when you're just so used to, like, especially if you're struggling with things and food is the only thing that gives you pleasure, like, you're probably not going to understand it, not going to want to let it go. And that's fine. That's your own journey, their own decisions. But please don't do this to your children. Just, you know, worry for the children. Don't teach your children to eat the same way that you eat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're fat, chances are 80% chances that your kids are gonna be fat. And
that's the reason why.
You know,
it's not the fetching. It's what you're feeding them.
Yeah,
it's what you're feeding
them.
them.
The habits.
And I seen many
it's
cases.
Something that we can all change. It's not something impossible to change. You just have to just know what to take out from your diet. You know, add new habits of activity.
And you gotta be strict with your kids, because what if your kids maybe a little hungrier than they ask for more food or whatever, and you gotta be all like, okay, my kid is still hungry, I'm gonna serve him, like, I already serve him enough proteins, but there's never enough veggies. Like, I had a neighbor that she had a big appetite, very big metabolism, and like, she was the only kid I ever met in my life that instead of eating chips like the rest of us, she will literally make herself very delicious. She will love eating vegetables. She made it look so delicious. Like, she will cut cucumbers with chili and lemon, or she will shave carrots. She will shave it, and then she will put like lemon, salt, pepper, and like chile, tajin. And I'll be like, oh my God, it looks so good. She'll just be eating, and I was like, let me try it. It's like so good. So good. And she herself, she'll be like, I'm hungry, and she'll go and make it herself. It was another thing that I never, oh my God, Martin, I haven't made it in so long, but I have to make this for you.
It's more satiating.
It was the first time that I saw tomato as a snack. as more than just something that I'll eat with my sandwich or my burger. Like, she will grab this juicy freaking tomatoes that she will get from her farm because her parents would grow their own vegetables, especially their tomatoes, a couple other vegetables.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that.
And yeah, she will green the tomatoes from her little farm that they had. It was little, it was not even a farm. It was a tiny little farm, and she will grow those tomatoes, and then she will chop it. She will cut it like wedges and stuff like that, and she will put like salt, lemon, pepper, and chili. Oh my god, Martin, so bomb! I was like, Gabi, how do you make everything taste so good? Pepper. Yeah, it was so bomb. She just knew how to season it. Like, I'm like, pepper, like, bro, you're a genius. Like, I would have just been chili and lime, you know, or chili and salt, but pepper is like, bro, like, you take this shit to another level, bro. Like, this is so bomb. I gotta tell you, but it has to be the right tomato. It has to be a red juicy tomato. So she would just do all kinds of things, and like, girl was always skinny as hell, while the rest of us got fat. So that's the thing. Like, if your kid's still hungry, give him vegetables. Don't give him freaking cookies. Don't go and give him soda. Freaking, even like popcorn will still be good once in a while. You don't want to get him used to just eating like popcorn all the time. But give him fruit. Oh my god, like, there's so many ways that you can do fruit. But don't give him like broccoli with like the worst kind of ranch that you can find on the store, which is, what's it, Health Valley or Valley what is it called? Valley Hard, Valley Product or something. That stupid, disgusting ranch that is just made with nothing but Nature Valley. Yeah, the most disgusting ranch there is. I don't even know how people like that ranch. Don't give it. That defeats the purpose. Or like an apple with caramel. Like, bro, no. Yeah. That's just, you're making your kid like, I'm never gonna eat. That's what I thought. Like, oh, like, if you didn't give me an apple with caramel, I didn't want to eat it. Like, that's it. Like, I'm done. You don't got caramel? Yeah. No, thank you. You make your kids spoiled. Don't spoil your fucking kids' entitlement. And if they're already kind of ready to lay, they're already like this. No, they're to lay my ass. Be like, you're eating what I'm telling you to eat, and that's final. And they start crying and throwing a tantrum. Throw them in their freaking room. Let them throw a little tantrum away. Eventually, they'll get over it, and they'll start getting used to eating the food that you give them. Yeah. Period. There's no negotiating with children. That's what we had to do with our dog, because Snowy was getting used to. What was getting used to? Well, your mom was like, feed him like all the time, and then like he stopped wanting to eat the food we were giving him. We were sorry. So we'll give him like chicken and vegetables too. Had to starve him for like a whole day, so he finally ate his food. Yeah. Are you hungry enough? You're gonna eat what's in front of you. You're gonna eat what's in front of you. And yeah, because I was eating like I was cooking for him. I was cooking chicken and vegetables. Not to sound cruel and stuff, but like you know what's best for your child. They're not gonna die. And they're not gonna die. They'll be fine. If anything, you're saving their life. If you really love them, you're saving their life, because it's not even a matter of. It's not even a matter whether like you're giving them a longer life or not. It's like you're saving their life in every aspect. You are preventing them from you're preventing them from developing mental disorders. Like, there's the higher rate in mental disorders in people that are overweight. So most people that are overweight they have some kind of mental issue. So you're saving them in every aspect. You're saving their real life, so they have a real chance at life, at a normal, good life. So that's what you're doing for your children. And it only took for you to starve them for maybe a day or two. And that's it. But they're going to survive. They're going to be fine. And they're going to love you. And they're going to thank you later. They're going to thank you so much. And they're going to go and make a YouTube channel about this. They're going to be like, thanks to my mom, I have to share this. And I was a fat kid, but thanks to my mom, I started losing weight. And now I want to teach everyone about how it's possible. Then that's what's going to happen. But you need to be strong. You need to be strong, moms. Yeah. I was just going to say that I started cooking for Snow. We're giving him healthy food. We're cooking chicken and vegetables, but then it got impossible to do it all the time. Not only that, but I was told by one of the vets that they need to have a certain number of vitamins, stuff like that, and the food and the pebbles. But some like processed food is that it has all that. It's engineerily made for their particular breed for them. So that's why I started being like, man, if I don't give him this kind of chicken and vegetables, like, he's not gonna want to eat. He's not gonna want anything else, you know. So that's why I started. We have to do that. But yeah, it's hard. Like I would love to spoil my dog too and give him all the food he ever wanted, but that is not loving a dog. That's just spoiling something that they don't need to be spoiled with.
Right. So, final thoughts.
Yeah. Final thoughts is that I real that about whether it's the genes or not. I came back to realize, looking back into my life, I came to realize that it wasn't the fact that I was inherit, that I was given a a hungry or fat gene by my parents. Because yeah, while they had big appetites and I also had a big appetite like them, you will think like, oh well, I think people mention it here and they're like, oh yeah, she's a big eater like us. We're big eaters. But then I realized I don't think that that's the reason why I was a big eater. Everything that I did point out to, like, my parents taught me how to eat. I ate exactly how my parents showed me to eat. My parents gave me the options of food. My parents filled my plate. My parents encouraged me to be eating. They were okay with me eating hot dogs and burgers on a regular basis. My parents didn't teach me how to eat healthier foods. My parents didn't encourage me the second I didn't like something, they didn't want to struggle, and they were like, oh, she's a picky eater, whatever, give whatever the hell she want. And they just gave in. Instead of being all like, oh, she doesn't like eating these kinds of vegetables, she likes food. How can we make it taste better so she can actually like it? Although my parents knew how to cook, they could have made a bigger effort into like cooking the food better. But no, they got lazy. If I wanted mac and cheese, it was fine. If I wanted this, that was fine. They never struggled with weight because back in the day, food was not as processed as today.
It was more natural, especially in Mexico.
Yes, especially in Mexico, food is a lot more organic, and the meats do not have the quantity of. They don't have the added hormones that chicken in the U.S. does. When I moved to the U.S., within 1 to 2 months, I gained an incredibly amount of weight. And I was eating practically the same things that I was eating in Mexico. Except that the food that I was eating here was packed with hormones, packed with things that my body was not used to it. So I blew up like never in my freaking life. So it was really insane, like how incredibly fast I gained weight by just moving into the States. The food, and every year, even in Mexico, there's a lot of people who are obese too because they're being sold American food. Every year, there's more and more and more processed food being sold to us. There's more and more additives being added to the food, and all these genetically modified freaking foods being sold to us, and all the stuff that is just our bodies are just not being able to process anymore.
Yep.
And that is a problem. Which is why we're making this video, to spread awareness so you guys are not fooled by the food industry. You're not fooled by government advertisings talking about how, like, make you think like, oh well, sometimes it's, maybe you just need to work out more, maybe you just have the fat gene, maybe you should just love yourself, maybe just cut a little bit. But they're not telling you the raw bottom line. And the reason why they're not doing this is because they want your money. That's it. You're just a dollar sign for them. That's it. They want you to continue to consume, and they rather that you just work out so you can just keep working out, and still consume a lot of food. That's what they want. They want you to not stop consuming food.
Yeah. Well, I noticed a big change in my life when, I changed my diet. I used to go eat out a lot. I just was never taught properly, how to eat healthy, which I knew what was good, but I never cooked for myself, which, that was a bad start. So yeah, I would just go buy whatever food, and I thought I was being healthy, but it just was slowly catching up to me, and I noticed a big change once I did that.
You never gave much thought to nutrition before, right? Until I actually started bringing it up to you, right?
Yeah.
I was the one being all like Martin, like sodas, like you shouldn't be drinking that much soda. Like, we're like, oh, you eat a Jack in the Box a lot. Like, oh, I don't like eating fast food that often. I rather make my own food. I rather make my own lunch. Like, I started putting those little thoughts, and like slowly but surely, you started adapting those those tips that nobody ever brought up to him. Nobody ever like made people. We just eat things and we don't give it a second thought. Like
yeah, I was an unconscious eater.
Yeah, unconscious eater, exactly.
And but yeah, I mean, anyway, yeah, that's why we want to put this video out there to like just promote that conversation and make you think a little bit about what you're eating, because it's the first most important thing that in this life that we should learn is what keeps you alive. You have to eat.
Yeah.
So might as well eat good. Another last thing I want to say is like this quote. I'm not exactly sure who said it, but it says, if you can control what you eat and drink, then you can control everything else. And that's all I got to say about that for now.
It's really important. It's the basic thing. If you don't achieve anything else in your life, you just want a simple kind of life, the only thing that should be a big priority and goal and just kind of like focus in your life should be your health, your habits, your life habits and your nutrition. That should be something that should be your focus. Like if I didn't have my business and I just had a simple job or just stay at home mom or whatever, like my biggest focus in life wouldn't be decorating my house or what am I gonna give everybody for Christmas. My focus should be all like my diet and my exercise. That's something that is so easy to achieve and is so gratifying once you do.
Yeah, this should be the base of everything.
All right, guys. So this probably just gonna be 2 videos because it was a lot we needed to cover, and we'll be talking about more.
It's a lot more to cover.
I want to talk about Tess Holliday in the next video, so stay tuned. Keep up. We are not gonna stop until more people see this.
Yeah.
Save the children.
I can taste